Good morning, everybody. Today is June 18th, 2015. It is 2:06 a.m. in the morning. Welcome to Phoenix Trading Strategies Forecasting Room, where strategic knowledge and information allows you to trade successfully. Before we go any further, let us go to the disclaimer. Future stocks and spot currency trading have large potential rewards but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in futures, stocks, and forex markets. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. This website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy, sell future stocks or forex, nor representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed on this website. Past performance of indicators or methodology are not necessarily indicative of future results. Being that said and done, let's go to the homepage today. As you all know, we do not really go over the indicators. We go strategically to the news to see what's going on in the world and to look for trades on the live edge of the market. So let's look at the news first before anything. So yesterday we had basically the US Fed come out and did not change the federal funds rate, left it alone. They did come out with a statement which was a little hawkish, but not true to the strength of the US dollar, and that affected it significantly. We had GDP numbers from New Zealand, so we'll take a look at the New Zealand, our Reserve Bank of Australia bulletin, nothing here. Right now we have the LIBOR rate coming up soon. We just had trade balance, so the Swiss will be coming out very soon with this, probably within an hour and a half. It'll be interesting to see what type of monetary policy statement they come up with based on the fact how they have torn limb from limb the euro with January's episode of them basically reversing their decision to continue to support the euro as a peg to the Swiss. So quite a bit of information is coming out today. We have retail sales from the UK at 4:30 a.m. Eastern, and we have targeted LTRO numbers coming out at 5:15 a.m., which shouldn't be too much. The Spanish 10-year bond auction, I don't think will be anything relevant. You got Euro meetings, and then in the morning you got CPI, core CPI, unemployment claims, and current account, of course. Philadelphia Fed Index numbers are usually very good, and that's pretty much it. So this Thursday seems pretty busy. Friday does not seem busy at all, but it should reflect what happened today. So very good. We know that we have some news coming out today, and it will be quite impressive at 12:30, especially with the Swiss. We'll take a look at that. We will take a look at that. So let's go to the charts, because I think it's important today to see what happened. And I think I did a video today, so you're going to like it because I traded it live on the edge of the market. And as you can see, I was in 4 trades. I'm going to show you the 4 trades. I got into the US yen short right here, and I ended up closing here. Of course, it ended up coming down even further. So I would have picked up twice the amount of pips. But what's more important is not that. Is that I discovered that they were using the 600-minute to isolate the short trade. So you can see power dots. Well, the first power dot formed here. When I saw that and I knew that they were trading at a 240 level, which is 124.35, I said, whoa, this is going to go short. So that was a great leading indicator for me to determine that this trade was going to go down. Rarely do I use the 600, but today was one of those days. And I also did it because of the fact that there was nothing else that you could see here. I mean, if we go back to a 30-minute, you're going to see nothing. If we go back to a 45-minute, nothing. A 60-minute, nothing. A 90-minute, nothing. I mean, there were no signals in this one, none at all. It had already gone long the previous day, and it was a perfect trade from 123.32 all the way up here. So it was a great setup, great resistance level, but there was no signal. It was a 600-minute that gave it away. Beautiful thing. I tried looking at the 720, and just couldn't seem to get this thing to work correctly. So I said, to hell with it. Let's go to the 600. And that's where it came. It was a really nice one. So we're going to be incorporating that one into our setup. Make no mistake. If they're using it, so are we. If we went down to the 20-minute, look at this. No setup. The 10-minute, nothing. There was no setup here, nothing. You couldn't see anything here. So what they did is that they went up, challenged this level, never broke it, at the announcement, just popped. And then to 124.46, and then came down like a stone. And there was no tomorrow, because this trade, as much as I'd like to say, from my entry, this trade till now has yielded 131 pips. Now that's a beautiful trade. Now I got out with very little, because I proved my point in the video that there is no other software out there that can forecast it. So I got out with 34 pips, and I was happy as can be. You believe me that you couldn't have a smile on a face as bigger as mine today, because the one thing that I was able to demonstrate was that not only did we nail the trade, but at the same time we were able to demonstrate the strength of the zones indicator, which also led us to that. And you'll be able to see that in the video. We'll be sending that out and sharing it with you guys. So that was a nice trade that we looked at. I also got involved took a position in the pound dollar. Pound dollar was a great trade. I liked it from the get-go. Had support and resistance levels here. Had them on the 15-minute. Had them on the 30-minute. The 30-minute right here. This is the one that just did it. I was like, oops, they gave it away. Looked at the volume, verified everything you'll see in the video, and took a position here because the candlestick had basically started to move above the trend dots, and I just held. Came down, never came down too much against me on this one. Really, realistically, this trade was very minimal in that regard. Came down 30 pips, which is hardly nothing, especially on an announcement like this, and then went long. I got out very short here. Could have actually held on to it, but truth be told, didn't want to hold on any further. Picked up 31 pips. Again, could have picked up another 40 pips on top of it. But what was more important was that we were able to identify, as you can see, here are the levels. Gotta love that zones indicator. Boom, it exploded. Explosive trade. Can't complain. It was all there, confirmed with our position. You can't go wrong. So you had two levels of confirmation that just took you to the moon. So really nice trade. Also took another trade in the one that you least expect, which is the Aussie dollar. And this one we got in from the very bottom, and hopefully this reflects it. This zones indicator was down here. It's not reflecting right now, but in the video you'll see that it was down here, and it gave a perfect setup to go long. Now again, on this one I got out short. I should have held on to it, but the thing just exploded, and I said it's going to break above 77.30, and it went exactly there and above and beyond. So this trade was really unique, because you'll see in the video that the zones indicator basically gave you the setup. I mean, you had it was 240-minute levels locked up here, basically saying no way is this going down. And based on the fact that the euro and the pound dollar were also going long, this was pretty much more of a setup. But you couldn't, again, we just did not get any signals here to take this trade long. Nothing on the 15-minute, nothing on the 10-minute. On the 5-minute, really didn't see anything. Hold on a second. Let me go to the 5. And I'm reviewing this with you guys because I really want you to see it. On the 5, it was, they were using the trend stop as a support level. And again, just didn't seem so. I wasn't that keen on the signal. If I would have seen the power dots here, then I would have been more motivated, but I didn't. For some reason, the algorithm and the way that they were reporting their data was to confuse. So I went to the zones indicator, and you'll see it right here. I mean, it was a perfect setup. It was incredible. I didn't pick much on this trade, and you'll see why. I got in here, got out right here, 21 pips. Again, I was doing it to prove a point that there is no other software out there that does what ours does. Total move was 95 pips, ladies and gentlemen. 95 pips was the total move if you would have stayed and held that one. So great trade. Do want to show you one more that I took, and that was the Euro USD. And this trade was unique because I got in here, but they spiked this thing down and just took everyone's stops out. And had power dots on the 5-minute because I saw it and I said, okay, that's good. That's a good setup. It's going to go long. However, normally my stop loss would have been about 30 pips on this, except for the fact that I knew that they were going to go after stops. So I didn't put a stop loss on this thing. It went down against me about 60 pips and then bounced right away. Now, the reason I took this trade was also to demonstrate not only the fact that we had identified the direction of the trade, regardless of the initial move of the trade, but what I wanted to demonstrate was that maybe the euro isn't the safest trade to take anymore on a Fed announcement because they swing it too fast, too hard. And sometimes you may not have the deep pockets to take it. They came all the way down. 56 pips was the move. All the way down against me. 56 pips. And I was not that happy about that. Granted, in a matter of a minute, it went right back up. This trade would have ended up yielding if you would have stayed in it because I got out about here. I didn't really make much on this thing. 11 pips. That's all I made on that thing. But again, the purpose was to demonstrate the zones indicator and this thing working together. This trade would have yielded 83 pips from my entry if I would have stayed the full course. But I didn't, and I wasn't, I'm not complaining about it because at the end of the day, I proved one thing and one thing only, that our software is unique above and beyond the rest. I didn't have any signals here, so it was really, really disappointing on this one. But the British pound and the Aussie dollar sort of confirmed long. And if you have two, and then you had the US yen, which was just a beautiful, beautiful setup to the downside, showing that the dollar was bearish right before the announcement. So maybe it's not the fact that the market makers were ready to manipulate. Maybe it's the fact that the Fed had already priced this in and they had already set the market up to go long. And so they forced everyone to go long against the dollar, bottom line. So yes, the video will be awesome. You will like it. You'll see it in the live edge of the market. You'll see how I use the volume to confirm the direction, everything, and how I use the new zones indicator, which is a great tool and is now available. I will be sending all of you an email. Those of you that have the software, what I want to do is do a 2-day webinar next week starting Thursday, and I want to start it at around 5:15 p.m. Pacific, which is about 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. I think it would be a great time because everyone's usually home that lives here in the U.S., whether it's West Coast, East Coast. People that we have outside of the U.S. in Asia will be available to take the webinar, and some Europeans, of course, will be disappointed, but they'll make it because it'll be worth the time to do so. So I'll be sending you guys an email regarding that. So now it's time for us to go and actually look for trades. Let's look at the Swiss franc because they just came up with their game plan. So we'll see what the rate announcement did. And the rate announcement, from the looks of it, hasn't really done anything. Go figure. Why? Because they've already gained strength against the dollar. And did I take this one short? It wasn't in this trade, was it? Was I in this trade? No, this one I took short previously. Got out here, closed it. Was I in the US Swiss? Seems like I was. Huh, interesting. Last night, maybe. Yes, it was the night before. Yes, I was. I did take this. I got the signal here that it was going to go short. So, also a nice trade. Let's see, what did I yield on this one? This was way before the announcement. 45 pips. Sometimes you forget. So, being that said and done, right now I don't think we're going to find anything on the majors. I think we're going to have to go to the exotics. So we're going to have to get really critical about what we're going to see. So the 60-minute is showing pound dollar. We already saw that. Nothing. Pound CAD. Let's take a look at the pound CAD. Oh my God. Tell me we did not miss this. Oh God, we did. This one already came down. And it came down exactly to this level. Wow. But see, the interesting thing about a trade like this, and I want to go over this, is because usually during the U.S. session, the end of the U.S. session, they start to form. But if it continues, and the way it did here on the 30-minute, then pretty much you can see price action just eventually fall. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, unfortunately, we don't chase trades. But our entry on this one would have probably been actually right here. We missed the first 43 pips of this trade. Or in this case, the first 34 pips because they already moved. Even if we would have gotten here, we would have been 15 pips ahead. What I don't like to do is I don't like to take these trades unless I can confirm on a higher time frame that they're going to continue to go down. Now, in this case, on the 90-minute, it's bouncing off of the trend stop. So for all intentions, this trade may actually go long. And I don't like that part of it, going long. I took the pound CAD yesterday as well, but I got out very short with only very few pips. So again, the fact that this one's coming down, maybe it would come down if it breaks to 192.66 from 193.31, but it's a little too risky. At this point, I'd like to confirm a little bit more on the higher time frames, and nothing. I don't see anything on the higher time frame that would lead me. Have that pivot there, and that tells me it'll come down, but doesn't guarantee me it'll come down too much. So we try and look for, again, we try and look for confirmation of power dots, and we don't get them. We don't take them. We just can't risk it. See, it's just not there. I mean, I'd love for it to be there, but it's not there today. Nothing on the 720. Let's see the 600. Nothing on the 600. Can't take it. We don't have anything. On the 20-minute, we do have the fact that they broke below these. And again, for all intents and purposes, we know that when they break through, they come down. But at this particular moment, expectations would be for it to come down to 192.80. And we can't really guarantee that because they're bouncing off of 193.24. So this trade is a wash for us. Let's continue to look. Let's look at the Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss didn't do anything. Now, that's not a bad thing. Let's bring in the volume indicator and see what it looks like, because the volume indicator will sometimes give us that look. So while this is loading, I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Okay, give it a minute. Let's see why. There it is. It was going to take a little while. Well, okay, great. So as we can see here, is where it's getting interesting. Here's where we're trading right now. Now, this is a 20-minute. If you've noticed, they've traded above, below, and the pivots just keep getting lower and lower. Swiss continues to get stronger. We're seeing a continuation of power dots 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one had to be today here during the Fed announcement earlier. Nothing happened, went up, formed the level, stayed at it, and right now it's holding. Now they are using the trend stop as a support level. However, it's setting up for a trade. And that's the one thing that we need to look at. See here, for instance, we're seeing on the 15-minute them setting up to go long. This is where the trend stop was. So not bad. The 20 and the 15-minute are giving us exactly what we need. This part is where it's important. Whenever you see that the volume indicator shows that price action is dead, and that there's no divergence, guess what? They're getting ready to pop. Now, we know that the news that has come out is announcing their LIBOR rate very soon. So there has to be a setup. What we're seeing here is that we're seeing that it may not be that great, and the euro is announcing a long trade here. And it's repeating itself on the 15-minute, but I want more confirmation. So we know what the volume indicator looks like, but let's read it. This is where it makes sense. This is where we excel and go above and beyond. And not just here, but also looking at the way, if there's a specific setup here that would guide us in that decision process. So here we have 240-minute levels. We have 60-minute levels here. But you can see how they've been trading off of this level very aggressive, which is a 30-minute level at 104.51, which is right here, 104.51. So 104.51 is the play. So let's see what the volume says here. The volume in this one says, this is where Simon says, again, came down. You got 22 million on the buy, 34 million on sell, difference of 11 million. But it didn't break below this price level or this level or this level. Then this one came in, 56 million long, 48 million short, drove it up, not enough to make an impact. And then finally we had this one come in, 35 million long, 42 million short, didn't budge, held above very strongly. And then this one, of course, is at 53 million long, 59 million short, but didn't do the trick. Then, of course, this one, second to last, volume starting to pick up, 92 million long, 110 million short. It is a bullish candle with bearish volume, and that means that the next candle will be bearish, which is exactly what has happened here. You have a pivot. You have another pivot. Now you have another power dot here holding. So if this one does not break through and holds, then guess what? It's going to go long. But what they're showing you is that they're showing you that they are setting up for the trade. So they know that they have an hour left. Now, if we were to go to the higher time frame, we would see exactly just that. So now we know how they're doing that. Let's go to a 60-minute and see if we have any setup for it. Yeah, see here, for instance, we have a setup short, but they're using this as a setup to go long. And this indicator is telling us right here, the price here is 1040, 104.40. We have 104.40 here, nothing here, but we do have a 104.43, which is hot. And that's about right there. Now, normally what they'll do is that they'll come down and they'll use the trend stop as a support level before going long. The power dots didn't lie. They did go short. It did fulfill its end of the bargain. However, what we're seeing is that it's setting up to go long, and they're bouncing off of 240 levels here that we have not identified here. Even if we went to the 240-minute here, which we're going to do so right now. We're going to go look for those levels. So the zones indicator serves also as a purpose to guide you in those levels. So this one is at 10:04:30. You have a power dot here, 10:04:49. Ooh, it's trading right off of that. So let's mark that one. It's not a trend dot, that's for sure. Okay, and let us make that a 240. Go to number 3, so our legend. So now we have the level right here where it's trading off of. But we also have these levels here, 10:40:28. For all we know, they can come and slam it to the bottom and then run. But here's the range. Look here, we have another set of power dots, which is short on 240. And this one we'll make red. Number 3 dash. And there she goes. So now we have identified these levels here. We also have this one. That is a level to the upside. Okay. Great. This would be the resistance level if it did go long to the upside. So I'll mark this one down as well. And again, what we're mapping out is the trade, how it could play. And if it plays that way, the way we want it to, or the way it should, then it should be very, very easy. But even though here everything looks like it's going to go to the downside, it's trading within the moving averages, but that can be very deceitful. Let's go to the 120. And again, we take our time analyzing. We never show desperation for the trend because we look to see how they're mapping it out. This is the 120. You can see how it's trading within this level right here. They started initially to go long, bounced off of the trend stop here on the 120. Let's go to the 90-minute. Remember, guys, this takes practice. It takes time. What we teach you is how to evaluate this information. Let me remove the indicator, the volume indicator, because it's just holding us up. Okay. So here, for instance, you see how they're holding, pivot, but again, bouncing right off of this level. And it's bouncing off of this level here, which is what we identified. 104.51 right there. That's identified by this level. Looks like a perfect W to the upside, if you ask me. For those of you that like patterns, I'm not that keen on the patterns. I'm keen on the direction of the trade and everything that we can use to possibly verify and confirm that. But see, if this holds above this level and this level, I'm very inclined to stay long on this. And that means that the Swiss do not have the strength tonight to do anything. So it shall be interesting, especially against the euro. I'd love for the euro to recover against the Swiss, quite honestly. So if we mark this level, which we don't have to because we know it's already here, but I'd rather not make it too busy. Let's go to the 60-minute. Here, for instance, it's telling us short, and it already went short. So fulfill this purpose. Now we're anticipating long. So from this point, my only concern is they would come down here to this level, 104.29, from where it's at. That's a good 30 pips before going long. And it's a little too soon to be jumping in on the trade, but we like to see exactly what's happening. 45 minutes telling us to go short, but again, the trend stop here is holding very nicely. And again, it's holding here. So this indicator is actually telling us, how aggressive the support levels are here. That's what matters to us. Let's go to the 30. Nothing on the 30. Again, here on the 30, it's just reflecting that they're bouncing off. And I can use this as if they were power dots here on this level. That's why when we went to the 20-minute, we didn't get anything, but we did get something. And see this one here, this was 1, 2, 3, 4. No more going to the downside. And you can see how they've traded at this level. I like the upside on this one myself. But on the 15-minute, we can see support here and here. That is what matters to me, is that we have a lot of support from the power dots at 104.48, 104.51. That to me tells me this trade has the potential to go long. Even when we go down to the smaller minutes, the 10-minute reflects it beautifully here and here. So for all intents and purposes, I'm thinking this trade is going long. Definitely not short. And if it did, it would come down no more than 30 pips against us. So again, I'm really inclined right now to just wait and see how they continue to play. But I think that we're definitely going to see this trade make a move to the upside. And it's ranging in a way that makes sense to me. I could easily take a position here, but I'd rather wait. I'm thinking that they may come down a little further. And if they do, then I want to see when it happens. So we know that the Euro Swiss is in play. Now they're coming up. Let's take a look and see if we can take a look at the Swiss yen, see if we can get a reading on that one. See, the Swiss yen is bouncing off of this level. Well, let's go to the higher time frames. It already broke through this level, went long, went short. This one's showing Swiss weakness, which is exactly what we're looking for. And they've attempted 1, 2, 3, 4, and then came down. So this is already on downside. Let's take a look at the US Swiss one more time. This one looks to go long against the Swiss as well. You have it hit here, here, and here. And it's bouncing right off of this level, 192.04, which is 192.04. Oh yeah, right here. So it already broke above this level right here. And it has to fill in these gaps. We've talked about this. Whenever they do this, they have to fill in these gaps. Now, if we took a trade here, we could actually put our stop loss 191.96, which would be really tight. It would have to be 191.90 to be safe, based on how they're going to hit the announcement. And they may not do anything at all because the move has already been defined by what happened earlier. So here's where it gets interesting, because sometimes you just have to wait for the trade to unfold before your very eyes. You just can't jump in. Anxiety cannot be the decision factor. So let's continue and see if we find something on the higher time frame. 60-minute. Nothing. And I took this trade yesterday and I got out and I did pretty good on it actually. But right now, nothing here. Let's take a look at A 120. Nope. A 240. Nope. A 180. Nothing. A 480. No. That's no good. So can't get a feel on this one. And sometimes when we can't get a feel on it, guess what? There is no trade. Let's see if the 45 will do it. Nope. Nothing. The 20-minute maybe. We do have a power dot on the 20-minute going short. I would not trade against that right now. Now, however, look at this. You have the candlesticks trading above the trend dots. The trend stop right now. We have one more candle and it goes up. Then that means that they're going to break right through this level, 182.41. And if that is the case, then the move could come up to 192.73 at the announcement. Right now, too close for comfort, but we'll mark it because that's what we have to do, is identify the level and mark it. So now we know the 20-minute is doing it right there. We'll see how they play the volume. It'll be very interesting, these next few candles that basically trade around this. But if it does break above, then at that point, probably anticipate a move against this moving average of 200. Normally they will retrace, excuse me, and then make the move. So right now we just have to wait for it and be patient. Anything else? Euro USD, Pound Aussie, Euro CAD, really? Euro CAD already came down. It's like the Pound CAD. We missed it. We were late in the move on this thing. 10-minute. Yep. Can't follow the trade once it's hit. But gotta admit, it was a beautiful trade to the upside, though. Really nice. But now they're coming back. God, it's a real crying shame. Pound CAD is the same, and Pound CAD a great signal to the downside. But see, look, it hit the moving average, which is what we had talked about. And it does have the potential to come down a little bit further. I just don't like chasing trades. 193.03 is what I thought, but definitely hit this level. Well, sometimes if you miss it, you miss it. Euro Aussie, huh? Interesting. Also, but no signal. And this is on a 60-minute. Pound dollar should not be in play at all. It is in play to the downside. Interesting. I'm just not that keen on this trade right now. The US Swiss has analyzed me. Well, we've already looked at that. Actually, let's see why it's doing that. US Swiss 60-minute. No power dots at all. Interesting why they did that. However, we are seeing here exactly what I said, which is basically the US dollar gaining strength against the Swiss. So here's going to get interesting because here's where the volume becomes really, really interesting, actually. Let's take a look at that. give it a second. We'll analyze the volume on this one. Yeah, see the volume starting to pick up now, which is exactly what we wanted to see. But now let's see if it picks up to our favor. Okay, so this one here, 110 million on the buy, 84 million on the sell. They settled here. Sellers didn't want to take it above that. This one, 90 million on the buy, 85 million on the sell. Difference of 5 million. They didn't break above. Then this one, 83 million on the buy, 95 million on the sell. The sellers took it back. And now we're back to square one to see basically who controls it. You've got negative volume on this right now. So this is a positive candle with negative volume. The next candle will be negative and come all the way down. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking for them to break above this price level 1, which is 92.14, especially because of the way that they're challenging it. So this will be interesting. You can see the bullish volume starting to pick up now. But will it break above it is the next question. Come on, let's see some strength. Price action isn't really playing well. They're just absorbing trades here. So really what they're doing is that it looks like they're offsetting their risk to the downside before taking it long. And if that is the case, then at that point, we can assess that it will go long. Swiss is weak against a lot of currencies. Yes, that is correct. It looks like the Swiss is weak against a lot of currencies. And right now, before an announcement, that says a lot. That says a lot. So we'll have to wait for it. It will be interesting. I don't think they'll break right beforehand, but they're gonna stay set up for it. And that's what we need to be aware of. Let's take a look at the Aussie Swiss, which is one that I hardly ever look at. But today is a special day. Gotta admit. Let me get some more. I'll be right back. Okay. Let's see here. Aussie Swiss, same scenario. Question is, how long will this go? This will be a very interesting one, actually. Let's take a look at the 60-minute. See if we have a trade set up. Always want to look at the 60 and 45-minute. Those are always good indicators. Okay, so here's the trade. They did go short, and they're bouncing, going long right now. You have a pivot, second candle making a move to the upside. On the 60-minute, you can see how the trend stop's just been slowly going up. They did fulfill it to the downside all the way. So this trade did come down, but it's fulfilled its cycle. Now, just like Stefan said, it looks like we have weakness in the Swiss, and that's not a bad thing. Because if we have weakness in the Swiss, that means that this move could be pretty significant right now. So how do we read this? Well, first thing we do is that we definitely look at volume now. Why? Because it makes sense. So we'll take a look at these candles right here. 175 million on the buy, 261 on the sell, and they didn't break below this price level. Interesting. Next one. 259 on the buy, 203 on the sell. And then we came in with volume, 335 on the buy, 316 on the sell. And then right now, we're currently with very low volume, but a lot of price action. So that means that it's on. And I actually like this trade to the upside, quite honestly, because to me it looks very clean. I do want to see what it looks like here. Oof, beautiful. When you see all these spaces the way they are, that means they've got to fulfill the levels and they've got to break through these gaps and fill them. So this to me looks like probably is one of the best trades to look at is this one. I like this one actually, even though we already missed the initial move. It seems like they've already began to make the move. And rarely do I take a position on a trade that's already began. But in this case, it looks pretty reasonable. So I'd miss from 171.05 to 71.34, 30 pips. It's trading above the moving averages, trading above the trend dots. Trend stop is to the upside. It may stop here at 71.49, which is not bad, but I think it'll break right through it because it's already in a position to do so. So no buy, hold, sell trade recommendations, but we'll take a position in this one here and let it and see how it plays. This one already began. That means that the US Swissy is also ready to make a move. Yep, it broke right through, just like I said. Oh yeah, it's on. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations, but I like this trade. Said it was going to break through, and once it broke through, that was it. So as soon as this one closes and settles above this, there is no tomorrow. The decision has been made right before the announcement. I think if anything, when the announcement comes up, it's already be priced in. Let's see the Euro Swiss. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, what a move. It was down here, broke right above it, broke above this level. Yeah, it's on. Definitely on. What a move. From 104.46 to 104.60, a 15 pip move in one candle. Shocked everyone, but we have support in two levels. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations, but I'm long on this one as well. These are the only three trades that I'm going to put for tonight. Your stop loss should be reflecting from here, for instance, all the way to one. Right now it's trading at 104.63. I like to tell you put a stop loss at around 104.45 for this one, which is about 20 pips. It's not too bad. I just don't think it'll come down any further on this one. On the Aussie Swiss, and that's a pretty conservative stop loss. On the Aussie Swiss, we're anticipating something a little different. And again, this one's already made a move to the upside. So I would look at a stop loss on this one. It's trading at 71.30. So I'm down 6 pips. I would consider 71.07 as a good stop loss. It's a good 25 pips. I don't think they'll hit it. Everything is telling us that they're going to drive it up. And the US Swissy, we already looked at, I think. We got the Aussie Swissy and the Euro Swissy, and that's it. Yeah, see this one. Former is currently trading, which is 192.18. You can actually put a stop loss at 192.05. They'll never touch it. Your exposure there is about 13 pips. Any questions so far, guys? And look at that. I mean, it is. They held above 92.04 beautifully here. Have to fill in the gap, no question. Go here, here, here. 92.88 would be about right here if it does come all the way up. I'm thinking 92.63, which would be around 92.58 is where it'll hit. Now we're at break even on that. I don't think they'll go up and down when the announcement comes up. I think it'll just go up and up even further. So let's take a look at the Aussie Swiss one more time, just to take a look at the zones indicator, because I think it'll be very interesting to reference it. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, they've filled the gap here, filled the gap here. The next one is here. 55 is the number right there. Lines up with a pivot. I'm still bullish on this one. No question about it. I love the setup that they've done here with this indicator, and more likely it looks like it'll come up to 71.67, which will be right there, right below this daily level. That's where I'm expecting. Don't expect too much nonsense here. It'll hold. And let's take a look at the Euro Swiss, which we're involved as well. We'll see what the zones indicator tells us, aside from our own assessment. Okay. Okay, so they pulled back. Not much of a pullback. So long as it stays above this level and this level, we're good. That's all that matters. So there's too much support here. Whenever the lines are thicker than usual, that usually tells you that they're setting up to go along. And that's what happened this morning, actually, with some of these trades that I took. I mean, the support was just intense. So let's see what this candle does. This candle will be defining for us. Now remember, we're about to enter right before the London Open. So they usually try to do a big bend trade, which is run the stops. Two, three, fulfilled. Usually not like a central bank to allow their currency to devalue before an announcement. Something's up. See, look at that. Like I said, if it breaks above 104.63, goodbye, Charlie. Should be a very, very interesting trade. I'm only down 2 or 3 pips right now. Down 1 pip. see how this goes. Very interesting. I'm glad this one moved, because that means that the US Swiss is moving just as much. Yep, it's holding. It is holding. And as the second candle moving above, trading above 92.14, which is where the 20-minute power dot showed, that's a great thing. We're at break even, so it should make the move. Let's see if we find something else that will be appealing to us. No, that already moved. Pound dollar is already in play. We've seen the pound dollar. It hasn't really done much. But let's take a look at it. Yeah, see, not that keen on the pound dollar. I think it still has room to move up, and I just won't trade against that. It's a shame we don't have power dots here, but I'm just not ready to take another position. Not after the move that it did. That was just way too hairy. This was a great trade too when I took this one long. Really nice trade. I was actually short and I flipped it. I said, oh, they're going to go long. I picked up 104 pips on that one. Beautiful trade. So now this one's a doozy. We're just going to have to wait. It seems like the Swiss pairs are the ones that are in play right now. Oh yeah. We like that setup really nicely. Finally positive one. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Give it away. Give it up because we want to take it from you. Now at this point, because the sentiment has gone ultra bright, bullish, I'd actually move my stop loss if it was right here at 91.97, a little higher to 92.06, possibly right under here, 92.11. I don't think it'll be hit. And the reason why is because they've already come down but haven't really done anything further. But I would still need, normally I like it once I normally move it once I'm up 15 pips. Right now it's a little too soon to be moving the stop loss from where we designated it, so I'd have to wait. The only thing I'm not, everything is fine. You see the candles trading above the trend dots here, holding, which is very important, and we need that. This delay here is based on the fact that they're waiting, and we're waiting for the next 25 minutes to determine what will be the outcome of the LIBOR rate, which will be exactly at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time. But what will their statement be is the next question. And this may be the only trade we're going to see for tonight, guys. I mean, that could be it. There isn't anything else that looks that could work. But I love the fact how this has shown the gap. Very nice gap to 92.37, then to 92.44, then finally to 92.58, which is exactly right here where it's going to meet with the moving average. Sometimes the moving averages, they do play them. And when they play them and everything lines up, it's a perfect setup. Let's set up another chart. I'm going to see one thing that we haven't seen. Oh, for crying out loud. New chart. $15 data series 45 load. Let's see. Something's going to give here, and we're going to find it. So let's give it a minute to load. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are looking at the same thing. We are seeing Swiss weakness in the radar. We're seeing CAD strength. The Aussie's a little off here. We are seeing yen strength. We are seeing US dollar strength and New Zealand strength against the Swissy. We're seeing yen weakness and euro weakness against it, but that could easily flip once the, let's take a look at a 30-minute. Let's give it a second. And again, same scenario here. Aussie strength, CAD strength, US strength, New Zealand strength against the Swiss. Euro is pretty much in line with the Swiss right now, but that could easily change. Like I said, let us change it here under indicator just to see that it is. That's the one thing you have to make that change yourself. Let's give it a second. Yeah, see, gotta love that. Swiss, Aussie, even New Zealand Swiss long. Rarely have I traded that, but it looks good to me. So let's take a look at the New Zealand Swiss. We just may be able to get a good position on that. Give it a minute. Let's give it a second to load. It's a ninja thing, believe me. It's not me. New Zealand Swiss. Look at that. No levels. That hurts. Ooh, however, whenever they're up here, like this, it means that they're going to actually move up here. That's not a bad thing. That's another thing that you're going to discover with this indicator is that you may not detect the support level sometimes, but you'll detect the resistance level. And that can serve just as much. So this trade, 63.37, or actually 63.33 would be the support level if you wanted to go long on this. This one's just holding and just waiting right now. It is trading above the trend stop, so yeah, I like this one. I'll take a position. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations. But you're looking at a 20 pip stop loss, 22 pip stop loss. That's as good as that's as far as it's going to go. If it hits. At 63.38. So we'll see how it plays. It will be an interesting event, that is for sure. Actually, let's see where that resistance 64.32 is right here. This thing goes way above and beyond 64.60. Wow. That would be a 100 pip move if it hits. It would be a very interesting trade. This is actually the first one that has shown the zones indicator, showing the resistance level when they're already down here, setting up for a long trade. Come on, let's go. You got 15 minutes left before the announcement. So let's begin the move. Patience, patience, patience is virtue. And in this case, it's no joke. Now, one thing is that you're going to see is that right now this candle and the second, and the one previous to it, just started to trade above the trend dots and just broke through the trend stop. So that's a good thing. But again, I think it's going to be one of those where it slows down right now, only because of the fact that we are very, very close to the news release. Let's take a look at the other pairs. They're probably doing the same thing. But even better, we already have positive on some of these. So that's a good thing. That's the Aussie Swissy. Euro Swissy is next. Oof, gotta love the Euro Swissy. Broke above it, which is what we were expecting it to do. It's trading right above the moving average as well, which is where a lot of people would be very comfortable in that trade. And this level right here is where they're... No, it's still traded above this level, actually. Go figure. And which other one? The other Swissy? The US Swiss. Yes, it is correct that the Swiss looks to weaken from what we're seeing. It's been some time since we've seen that, so this would be a good start. They need to weaken their currency in order to increase their exports. They've had a bit of a hit. What is Swiss Air? I don't know. ATR. Their average true range varies because, sometimes they could run, 50, 100 pips. I'm expecting that if this thing hits, we're going to see a 100 pip move out of it. Because they've been looking desperately to weaken their currency, and they haven't found that. They have not found it. We got 8 more minutes to go before this thing hits. As much as I would love to see more movement, there isn't any right now. Nothing. There are no other trades except for this. Everyone's relying on this one. You know, this morning I was speaking with a friend of mine, and he was having a hard time believing that the dollar was going to weaken because it would go against everything that the Fed was doing, but the signals were just too clear. Sometimes when the signals are that clear, you just can't doubt what's happening. And see, what I like about this indicator is that it takes us to a whole other level of understanding because it automates some of these levels that we don't have and that we manually could not find. And that is a great, great thing. So for those of you that have the software currently, I'm going to be sending you guys an email to see if you want to participate and get involved in a 2-day webinar that I'm going to give next week, starting Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I think it'll be a testament to what we've done, because this indicator is taking us to whole other levels that we haven't seen. So your stop loss should be below 92.04. So your risk right now is, if anything, 15 pips, 13 pips. 92.04 is right here. So we shall see how this plays. Patience, patience. 6 more minutes. 6 more minutes. Longest 6 minutes we've seen so far, huh, gentlemen? But imagine if we hit this trade really well. Wow, what a day. See the New Zealand Swiss. See if it's done anything. Still bullish. This will be interesting, that's for sure. 5 more minutes. Really would have liked to have found more support levels on this one, but couldn't find them. Let's look at the volume. 95 against 68. 107. Ooh, look at this. Volume increase 117 million against 155. It was a little bearish, but it never came down. It always trades to the upside, and right now we're at very little volume. We got 19 million on the sell, 2 million on the buy, but it's still moving more bullish than anything. And if the bears were trying to take control, they're doing a miserable job of doing such a thing. So, no, no, no. Not a good thing for the Swiss. 3 minutes. Get some water, I'll be right back. Okay. See, look how they're increasing on the sell. We got 29 million, and on the buy we have 20 million. 30 million on the sell. Difference of 10 million means that the next candle would be short to the downside if it happened. But what they're trying to do is offset their orders to the downside because they have a feeling that this is going to pop. And they're not going to be able to do it completely. Let's look at the Let's go to the Aussie Swiss actually. And then we'll go to the US Swissy before the announcement. 2 minutes. Let's see if we make it. Oh yeah, we're making it. Look at that, filled the gap beautifully. And we'll surpass it because it broke through this level. Oh yeah, nope, I feel good about this one. Very, very good about this trade. Let me remove the volume indicator. It's going to slow us down. Let's go to the US Swissy because this is where it's going to hit. 1 minute before the announcement, of course. Let's see what they do. Look at these. That's why I said they're going to hit. They're going to trade to the downside first before they go up. Okay, it's on. Let's see. What are you going to do? The number is out. What are you going to do? You should have done something by now. What are you going to play? We'll go to the trend stop. Okay, here's where it has to hold. What was the statement? They held it. Nothing's changed. So let's see what you're going to do from this point on. Okay, so they went straight to the pivot. Let's see if it holds here. If it not, I'm out. I'm curious what the statement was. Oh, there it goes. Starts to recover. Okay, good. That's what I needed to see. Usually they'll go run stops and then go the direction. All right, so you held your ground. Now it's time to move. That's the one thing that Jordan has from Switzerland, is that he is not playing the same game the other central bankers are. He is being very offensive in his decision process with his colleagues at the Swiss National Bank. Let's take a look at the Aussie Swiss. Retraced very little. Hardly nothing. New Zealand Swiss is probably about the same. Yeah, hardly nothing. And because it didn't move that much, it will rebalance to the upside. And the Euro Swiss. Again, hardly no move. 20 pips is all it moved. And it seems to be looking like it's going to be recovering to the upside. They're still holding. See, this price level, 104.48, was a very strong support level. And you could tell by how the power dots just continue to support a bullish move. But I don't think we're going to see a real big move, which is what will be very disappointing here. And it's just holding there. So what are you planning on doing, boys? Seems like the banks are stuck just the same. Seems like they're still trying to assess the decision. Again, nothing. They are just stuck with their decision. I would have expected right now a tremendous hit against the dollar. I mean, it's right at support. Come on. It's just flat. Question. Exactly. Come on, candle, finish up. It's like they don't know what to do. I mean, this is absurd. Come on, come on, come on. Whatever you're going to do it. It looks like you're going to bounce up. So if you're going to bounce up, let's do it. What a despicable trade this became. They're not moving an inch. Look at that. Nothing. No movement at all. go to the smaller minutes. See if we can see something there. I mean, it just doesn't want to go below. So if you're not going to go below, then you got to come back up. So come back up already. There it is. I knew it. I knew you couldn't hold that level. Come on up, you dogs. What they're trying to do is deceive everyone to go short when actually they're getting ready to go long. And we're going to see this thing hit. Let's see the Euro Swissy. Same scenario. Look how it bounced. They never broke below this level. Here it comes. Let's take a look at the Aussie Swissy. Ooh, the Aussie Swissy held very nicely. We're actually at break even on this one. So this one's already in play. The New Zealand Swiss probably did the same thing because it hardly moved. And we have a power dot. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen. It is confirmed. We are going long. But you see how they try and play this game, though, of deceit, which is really what gets everyone. And again, the U.S. Swissy, on an announcement like this, is acting just like the Euro. Once it breaks above 9,200, it's on. We actually needed to break above 9,204. Then we know that we're good. So come on, Kendall, let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. $92.01 has to break above 92.04, and we know at that point that it is going to be a very interesting one. And there it is, 92.05. Gotta love it. So, what do you think so far? Any questions? Because I think that we're pretty much done for the night. I'll be really comfortable once we get to break even on this US Swissy. I told you, the stops, they wouldn't hit them. And now it's just a matter of letting them run. Thank you, John. Wipe your brow on this one. Nice session. Yes, indeed, Stefan. Nice session. Let's take a look at what the other currencies are doing real quickly before we And the night, see, look at that one. Aussie Swiss, beautiful trade to the upside. Has a potential to actually go, if it breaks above 71.43, which it looks like it does, I'm thinking 71.73 and potentially 71.98. Like I said, we haven't seen the Swiss devalue in a long time, and I think today it's due. Let's take a look at the New Zealand Swiss as well. And this one, we're almost at break even, not quite yet, but getting there. And again, it should come up to, if I'm right about this, to 64.61. And that could signify a 100-pip move to the upside. And we have a power dot forming. This is what makes me, and it right above the pivot, which is a beautiful thing. So I actually like this. I'm thinking once it breaks even, it'll definitely come up to 64.10 from 63.60, which would be a good move to the upside. But yeah, it's been due. Roller coaster session indeed. Sometimes, when we come back and look at this, we have to realize that we can't let emotions get in between our decision process. We have to follow the strategy and follow the information that we're given. That's what will make the difference. See here, for instance, it bounced off of the low, which we knew they were not going to break because this was the threshold. And it had been coming up in stages. The power dots had been lining up. The FX radar showed us that the weakness in the Swiss was very, very strong. Not that the Swiss was strong, but that their weakness was very, very, just announced in too many levels. So now it's just a matter of waiting for these trades to actually get back in line and recover. And we're not too far off from that. So really, that's all we have to show for today, guys. I'll be sending you guys some emails sharing. We're going to be posting these videos up. Definitely, we already posted some today, so you should be able to see them on the blog. And hopefully, that's right, a Denny's breakfast all around. Can't go wrong with that. Once we're at break even, then we can go to Denny's. So yeah, it'll be very interesting. It's definitely going to be one of those where it's just going to take its sweet time to balance out. But yes, a very, very interesting session, if there was one. I didn't get that, Stefan. Can you retype that? Also, please, you didn't finish your statement. Oh yeah, we're going to try and get those up and posted. We posted Mondays. Yeah, we posted Mondays. I'll make sure that Gail gets them up. Yeah, see, this one's still moving along. So now we're good. Okay, great. Well, listen, thank you all for coming and joining us today at Phoenix Trading Strategies Forecast Trading Room. We'll try and get this video up for you guys as well tomorrow, and I will see you Friday morning. And I'll be sending out emails tomorrow for next week's webinar. Thank you, take care, and look forward to seeing you. Have a great, great evening, or great morning. We've already started our morning. Thank you. Bye-bye now.